On the 23rd of August, Babita Deokaran was assassinated outside her home in Mondial in the southern reaches of Johannesburg. She had been a whistleblower who, for more than a decade, had been an obstacle for corruption in the Gauteng Department of Health. Her murder made national headlines. She had been a key witness in graft probes that ruffled feathers of powerful political players, and her killing cast a long shadow. A fear existed that others would be silenced and meet the same fate. Exactly a week after the drive-by shooting that claimed her life, 6 men appeared in court. The deck was stacked against them. They faced a raft of charges relating to her murder, as well as others for being found in possession of illegal guns. Now, a News 24 investigation draws back the veil on the lives of these men, an alleged hit squad paid to eliminate someone who stood against corruption. Our investigation stretched over weeks and saw us crisscross the country in search of answers. We delved into the lives of the Deokaran Six, and our probe took us to Wienan, a tiny farming town in the remote expanses of KwaZulu-Natal. But in a village on its outskirts, a darkness lingers. The men accused of plotting Deokaran's murder all have their roots in KwaZulu-Natal. We traced 5 of them to a single village, in Ngodini, set in a valley far from view. It is a place steeped in historical tribal conflict and bloodshed. It was in this sun-baked valley where the Deokaran Six grew up. Their homesteads are dotted across the arid hillscape. When they were children, it was here that they played in a stream which runs through the lowland and shared paths etched by wandering goats and cows. Today it is central in a region known as a proving ground for Izinkabi, notorious contract killers in the taxi industry. The group share a long history, and now nearly all have links to the taxi industry, a realm where hit-style killings and hired guns have become a stock in trade. Pakamani Hadebe and Zita Radebe are related by blood. The cousins first left the village in search of work more than a decade ago. They found new lives in Johannesburg as taxi bosses. Inhlangano and Ndlovu grew up alongside them and left his rural roots behind in favor of a better life on the reef. He found his place as a taxi driver in the same murky arena as his childhood friends. Sipakaniswa Dladla, the youngest alleged assassin, followed in their footsteps. He found a home in Nansfield Hostel in Soweto, and falling into the taxi industry like his peers was inevitable. He plied his trade as a rank marshal and later bought his own minibus. Unlike his compatriots, Sanele Mbele remained rooted in the village of his birth. He found work in a neighboring municipality, earning a meager wage as a general worker, spending his days cleaning the streets. Sipiwe Mazibuko has a different backstory. He hails from the village of Ngutu in northern KZN. In Johannesburg, he worked as an e-hailing driver and made fast friends with the men from Ngodini. On August 9, 2 weeks before Deokaran was gunned down, 5 of the alleged hitmen returned to their homes in the village for traditional ceremony. If they are proven guilty, plans to assassinate Deokaran were already in motion. "53-year-old Babita Deokaran was gunned down outside her home on Dungarvan Avenue shortly after 8:30 on August 23. A white BMW and a silver Polo were seen on CCTV footage following her after she dropped her daughter at school and then went to a nearby Checkers to buy groceries. Investigators placed her car leaving the parking lot at 8:29 a.m., oblivious to the BMW and Polo on her tail. As she was pulling into her driveway, the white BMW pulled up alongside her and those inside peppered her vehicle with handgun fire. She sustained 10 gunshot wounds and sat in her car bleeding before she was rushed to the Netcare Union Hospital, where she later died. Her domestic worker, in the car with her at the time, emerged from the hail of gunfire unscathed. At the time of her death, she was Chief Director of Financial Accounting within the Gauteng Department of Health. For more than a decade, she had been a linchpin witness for the Special Investigating Unit. tasked with probing graft and corruption in a department with a mammoth 60 billion rand annual budget. The investigations unseated Health MEC Bandile Masuku and several others in his management structure, accused of having swayed PPE contracts in favor of their friends. After the killing, police began retracing Babita Deokaran's movements. They dialed back the clock and examined weeks' worth of footage from a network of traffic cameras dotted around her suburb. They became a silent witness, quietly logging license plate details of passing cars. What police found was that Deokaran was followed, and a single car stuck out, a VW Polo registered to taxi boss Pakamani Hadebe. This led police to a back room in a safe house he rented just 1 month before the murder, on number 106 Sheffield Street in Turffontein. That house then became their new point of focus. When police moved on him 3 days later, sources said Hadebe was interrogated and under questioning named his paymaster, an influential and powerful ANC politician.
Turn left onto Sheffield Street.
Inside his room, cops found a deposit slip for 400,000 rand, believed to be the fee for his alleged role in the killing. Hadebe then led police to his cousin, Zita, also a taxi owner. From there, in a series of raids at 3 locations across the city, 6 men were arrested. In Hlangano and Ndlovu, Sanele Mbele and Sipakiniswa Dladla were arrested at 32 Victoria Street in Rosettenville, where they shared a back room, also rented just 1 month before the murder. When a heavily armed contingent of police officers stormed the premises, they kicked in doors and took the 3 into custody. Sipiwe Mazibuko, a Bolt driver who had his contract with the e-hailing service terminated because of a series of terrible customer reviews, was found at a property in Rosettenville, 74 Albert Street. The links of the 6 to the minibus taxi industry and the importance thereof cannot be understated. It was what first set police on their trail, alarm bells ringing because of the spectre of hired guns in the industry. These Izinkabi have become cold contract killers who sell their services for hits across the country, which have claimed the lives of politicians, businessmen, and lawyers. The men are preparing for a bail application on November 2. The National Prosecuting Authority has indicated that it would fight tooth and nail to prevent their release. But this may be an uphill battle, impeccable sources in the Hawk said, as police have still not found the murder weapon. The alleged mastermind remains in the wind.